Our committee, we don't really have a report, but we do have to open up the bids, in this case, bid for the second phase of the Fort Coombs Armory renovation, restoration project. We only got one. I talked to Mark yesterday, and he said there were 3 people at the pre-conference bid that was required, 3 different companies. I was a little surprised when only one showed up. So we can go ahead and open up this one.
But we advertised the 3, so we're gonna open them and see what it is.
We've only got just one?
Just
That's
one,
fine.
Commissioner, I guess this one was.
And that's to do the second phase of it?
Yes, which is, of course, you know, which is leveling the floor, some more windows, and that back room, that ramp, making it a true handicap ramp, because it's actually not where it is right now.
Okay, open the outer envelope, and inside the outer envelope are 2 inner envelopes, and both are also sealed, so I don't know if they're
Okay.
2 parts or 2. So we'll open up both of them here. Let's see.
And so, you know, the counties, I talked to Kurt yesterday, our match is 18,000, it was 180,000 grant we got from the state to do this, and Kurt has the $18,000, so I double checked with.
TDC.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. It's just one bid. They put their bid bond apparently in a form.
But they do have a bond.
They have a bond, like what circle, but, so their base, okay, this is a little confusing. All right, there's a base bid for the floor system, and then there's an alternate for the floor system, and this gets kind
What
of
company name?
Oh, I'm sorry. Thank you. Yeah, I apologize. ARC Master Builders out of Tallahassee, Florida, Thomas.
ARC.
ARC/Master Builders, I'm sorry.
Okay.
ARC/Master Builders. And this is a complicated bid because there are several parts to it, but the base bid is $78,863. $78,863. Then there's an alternate bid for, it says expand the scope of work, the scope, I'm sorry.
Mark said the base bid is for the floor, the alternate is everything else we want, depending on how much the floor costs, basically, is
Okay.
what we're looking at. So
Okay.
that's what the alternate is.
78,863 is the base, and the alternate is 68,017. $68,017. That's one alternate. A second alternate is $68,215, and those are both dealing with the floor system. So you got 2 alternates on the floor, but then, Michael, you have an alternate that is about the window restoration.
Yes.
So you have another alternate for the window restoration, and that is $67,707. $67,707. There's a third alternate for which there was no bid. Actually, there's third and fourth alternate. They didn't bid on the interior renovations and the ADA ramp, and they didn't bid on the main entrance restoration.
Wow.
Wow. Okay, well, I recommend we turn this over to Mark and the committee for, see if it's consistent with the money we have available.
So move.
Second.
Have a motion second floor, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries.
And that's it for me, I had
Okay.
nothing before.
Mr. Schuler,
No, sir, no report from the
no
board.
for you. Any comments from the commissioners? Any comment from the commissioners? Any public comments? Yes, ma'am. Come forward to the podium, speak your name.
Good morning. I'm Sandra Keniston, and I've been a resident and a taxpayer for 24 years. My husband was the first artist here. He was retired from FSU, and I had a spa in Tallahassee successfully for 27 years, a bed and breakfast, the Witherspoon Inn, for 17 years, and everything was fine until we got the oil spill. They did not compensate me. In the next 5 years, I lost, in 2010, my husband, 2 homes, and 2 businesses. At age 70, no one will give me a job. And a year plus ago, they started the farmers market. Speaking of jobs, because the jobs here are, as they said, you clean rooms, you wait on tables, that's about it. And they evidently think I'm too old to do that. But I started doing the farmers market very successfully with my baked goods. It's a lot of work, but primarily I need money for taxes and insurance. I don't have enough with my Social Security. But the farmers market is only one day a week here, and then I go to Port St. Joe on the other days. I did not have the money for the peddler's license because when I started fall a year ago, it was $350 and I didn't have the money. So I scrimped and saved because it went down to $150. In February a year ago, I set up with a little table and a tiki umbrella, and it was Super Bowl Saturday, and I put out my bake stuff and I sold out. And people loved my goods, the tourists love me, I get letters from them. And so Fridays I bake all day, Saturdays I'm at the farmer's market, the other days I'm on the island trying to sell my baked goods, which in the summertime it's a different market completely. So then I added boiled peanuts and trying to figure out a way to get by. But in June, July, and August, I was never on the island on Saturday or Sunday, never. There's not enough parking there. It's a nightmare. It's like the mall at Christmas time. So I did not take up any space. I'm not even there that much. There are supposed to be 8 peddlers. I've ever only seen 4. Doug's Seafood is there. The hot dog people are there. I'm there. And Dale's, I guess, I've never met him. And occasionally the guy with the produce from Monticello. But I have tried repeatedly to find out what will be happening at the end of the year. The snowbirds are just barely starting to come back. They're my main market. But as of, from what I understand, after December, there won't be any peddler's license. And I know when the chili cook-off was here, we set up across from, on county property, by the express lane there, and all I have is my little tent, and there's plenty of parking. And I'm just asking that some consideration be given so that I can still sell my baked goods on the island, because Michael Allen suggested I talk to his dad, and so I tried setting up in East Point at the Sportsman's Lodge corner 4 different times, and guess what? I almost got hit by a car. So that was not a good alternative. But I get on the island, like I said, it's just barely enough money to get by. Some weeks when the hurricane was here, I made $13. Right now it's been so slow, some days they only make $20. But regardless, you can't give up. And it's something that I do well, and I know that people, I'm an asset to the community. I always have been. I did not speculate on property and lose everything because of something like that. It was pure and simply the oil spill. And right now I'm living in the bedroom part of my inn because the inn was 2 buildings, so now I'm next to St. Vincent's Wildlife there, and then someone else has my home, and he's gonna be renting it out, but regardless, but at least I still have, this is my home. I've loved it here from the first time I ever came here in the early 70s. I've always had a dream, speaking of jobs, and I don't see why, to me, I'm a National Merit Scholar the same year as Hillary Clinton. I wound up in the spa business because my husband thought I should have something to do when he retired. But whatever I did, I excelled. Among other things, when it was a spa, it was so ahead of the times, you could not get licensed people to do nails and some of those things. So I got a license for a school, which normally would take a team of lawyers to do that. My love is art, and I've always thought that Apalachicola would be so perfect for an arts and crafts school. Like Penland is in the mountains. People come from all over the world to go to Penland. The bank building is in my backyard. It's been sitting empty for how long? It's full of mold and mildew. The Harry Arnold's property there where they thought about the fire station, there's other properties. And FSU even had a program called recreational therapy, because look at the population, cruise ships, hotels, nursing homes, things like that. And arts and crafts schools get money. They get money from the government. And we need jobs here. With imagination, the locals could be put to work gathering shells for jewelry and making crafts and all of the different things that go with this beautiful place that we live in, but have jobs. We all know that the drugs and alcohol are out of control. It's heartbreaking. I can't imagine, the only job I could get for 2.5 years, the only job was at the Express Lane on St. George Island, me, night shift, $8 an hour. It was the worst experience of my life. They would only give me 3 nights a week. It wasn't enough to live on. But oystermen would come in there hungry and scrape together their coins for sardines and crackers because they didn't have enough to eat. We all know what's happening here. And I think the idea of a small school, I mean, you've got to start somewhere, but we have the buildings here, and we have the mindset here. The farmer's market is, and the community gardens and all those different things. You know, somebody, you know, I just really have always seen it as something that would be really a wonderful addition and jobs in so many different ways that could go with the school. But anyways, back to my peddler's license. Like I said, I've only ever since February seen 3 other, well, I've never met Dale, but only, you know, like I said, 4 of us that I know of. And if I could be grandfathered in after December to just set my tent up a couple days a week like I've been doing on county property somewhere so that I could sell my baked goods.
And Ms. Kennison, I believe everything she says, that she's worked hard. I've spoken to her before about the losses she suffered during the BP oil spill, and it's been a really tragedy for her and not the way you want to have your life progress. But the county last summer had realized that we were being overrun with peddlers, not because of Ms. Kennedy herself, but there were more peddlers trying to squeeze into that space on St. George Island than we could accommodate. So in the last summer, the board voted to have a moratorium so that we would sort of try and get our hands on the situation. And the resolution at the time was that we were going to stop having peddling out there and expand the parking lot. Because just as you say, in the summertime, unfortunately, Ms. Kennison, the summer, the place is overrun, and that space could be used for parking as it was originally laid out. And so that's where we're headed. Now, I'll refer to Michael, the 2 Michaels, as to what is, you know, there's this timeline, but that was where we're headed. So not only you, but everybody else is going to be denied a peddler's license coming in January. That was the intent of the board last summer. We would pave that area and create parking out there and not allow peddling. We were trying to accommodate a conflict of use. Just as you said, there are too many people out there, and it's a hazard for the county to allow peddling, and the street is busy, and people are pulling in and out of the parking lot. So that was the solution we had a year ago, which unfortunately is not good for you, but it's the solution that we thought was best for the public as a whole. And that's where I end my statement.
That's, Alan, that is only on Saturday and Sunday. It's not that way at all, Monday through Thursday.
I agree that during the week it's not, but you know, we were just trying to be consistent with the
Right.
application of that language.
And there's really only 4 of us. I've never seen anybody else.
Well, there are more than
Why could
4
we be
licenses issued.
grandfathered in?
I mean, there's more 8 or
I
12.
don't know how many were issued. But no, under your current ordinance, peddling has never been legally allowed or authorized in that parking area.
This is on the side. Yeah, we're on the same place, Michael. She's not in the parking area. She's over there on the side where Doug is, but that's the area where we were trying to expand the parking lot.
Where it's Lime Rock.
Yes, that's correct.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
It hasn't been paved yet.
Hasn't been paved yet, but the moratorium that we imposed, you know, we're trying not to, I'll be honest, the fear, and I say this on behalf of Michael, is that, you know, while we haven't got a complete resolution, it's not fair to the residents or the people who were seeking to use that area to be issued a license in January, and then we come along in March and say, oh, well, you're out of here, you know, because we said last summer we were going to pave it. So we have not been issuing anybody licenses, thinking and knowing that that was the direction the board was going.
But there is the area across from Express Lane where they had us set up when we were kicked out because of chili cook-off. It's county property. That's what Jay Abbott told me. So that's where I set up. It's only 2 or 3 days a week
The Express Lane in,
by I think the street by the St. George Inn.
that
going
is the
down to
state highway.
Patty's.
That's
State highway.
No, Jay Abbott said that going, not towards, you know, from the bridge to the Gulf, but the one that cuts across. He said it was county property.
The main road you come in on to St. George Island.
Is state, right?
state.
But he said that the other one that cut across was county. And that when the chili cook-off came along, that's where they had me set up.
Well, I mean, there are lots of right-of-ways on the St. George Island where people might set up. But we have to be very careful because the roads are narrow and we don't really want, I mean, for the benefit of the people who are out there using and the traffic, the roads are there for traffic control, and for people to go back and forth. I mean, I don't know that we want to encourage people to be just popping up in anywhere they want to for peddling purposes. I mean, we try to regulate it, so we,
Well,
at this point,
exactly. It
have
wouldn't
not.
be anywhere.
Well, I know, but, I mean, you were very conscious and I think very, very sympathetic to the situation because you don't even go out there in the summertime. But other people wouldn't be as considerate, and we could easily be creating a problem for ourselves and for anybody else if we didn't have some regulation. And right now, the intent of the peddler license and the structure was to have people in one area, and now that area has become overwhelming because it's too close to the beach. The beach use is expanding, and so we were trying to recognize that fact. I mean, there may be other solutions, but to answer your specific.
Grandfathering me in. I mean, it's really, Doug does not need the money. He's got lots and a building and all that. The little hot dog people, they and myself are only there 3 or 4 days a week and not on weekends. And that's when the parking problem is. And, you know, like I said, the tourists love us. I get letters from people. I don't know where else I could go.
Let me throw another solution for you, though. Rather than be on county property, the space you're occupying is very small. I mean, have you approached any business person? Can you set up on their property? Then you don't need anything from us at all.
There isn't any. I mean, Express Lane's not going to, you know, there isn't anything.
Well, I mean,
No, there isn't. I have pursued it, believe me, since last spring when the first article went in the paper talking about the transient peddlers. And I did try East Point. I tried East Point, but there's only, you know, like I said, the farmers markets are only 1 day a week, and it's not enough. I need the little bit that I make during the week, you know, on the island. I tried East Point, and I almost got hit by a car 4 times in 2 weeks.
But now, on the state highway, you don't have to have no permit, right?
The state has a little more latitude. Now, I can't tell you that it's completely open, but I know if you're peddling peanuts, as an example, I think you're allowed as an agricultural product to peddle on state highway. Because people at the base of the bridge are there all the time. As you come on to St. George Island Bridge, there's usually a peanut vendor there. So there are places where you could set up. I mean, admittedly, right where she is a great location. I understand that completely. The people are already parking at the parking lot, and you have 100 cars in captivity right there, and she's just right across the street from that. But we've had so many people in that area that it just became a traffic problem.
Well, how long before they shut it down?
Well, at the position of the planning department is that we were not going to issue any new licenses come January 1, because we should be paving that area and setting up as additional parking. That was the intent.
Well, let's make sure we're clear. The area in the ordinance that says you can't pedal in the parking lot area, just because it's not paved, I mean, it's always been banned there. It's never been allowed. That doesn't-
We're not in that area at all. This is on the west side of First Street.
I know what we're talking about, but that's also part of the area that's shown on the plat that has been banned for peddling since the beginning of the ordinance in like 97, 98.
Yeah, because the ordinance, I actually didn't read the ordinance until yesterday, and I saw where it referred to this area as platted, and I didn't even pay attention to that. So, I understand what Attorney Schuler was saying. So, basically, it's been banned all along.
Yes.
We
It's
just-
never been legally authorized to have
Yes.
peddling in that area because the original ordinance banned peddling in the area on the plat that's marked as the parking lot. And just because part of that area is paved and part of it's not, it's still part of the area that's banned under the current ordinance. And that ordinance has been in effect for 20 years.
So would I get kicked out if I set up across from Express Lane there when the chili cook-off was going on? Are you saying that's state road or, I mean, I know, where you come in is state road, but Jay Abbott is the one that told me that the crossroad was county property. And there's lots of room there. I mean, I'm only there a couple hours.
What street is that?
Talking about one of them little roads that cut across.
They're going
I
down
think she's
to,
talking about the area between the north-south route on Franklin, so I think she's.
going down towards Patty's Raw Bar and
Yeah,
the
it's
St.
on-
George
it's on
in there.
Pine Street.
I think, yeah.
Pine Street. Pine Street is 60-foot right-of-way with 2 lanes of traffic, and I don't know where you would set up that you wouldn't be a hazard to yourself or the traffic. I mean,
There's an area bigger than this on both sides of grass.
Well, is this something that y'all can discuss out, you know, and
We don't have the
if,
commissioner of that
then if y'all
district.
need us, come back, because we don't never do nothing without staff's recommendation or the attorney's recommendation, ma'am. So you really need to work with those people and then see if they can come back with a solution to the board. Because, we can sit here and talk about it all day long, but that's something that you all need, we have no map. We don't have the representative of that area here. We don't have the other representative for the, you know, here. So we three feel kind of reluctant to do anything or say anything without a full board and more going into this. So that's the way I feel. So, anyway.
So, thank you, but I'm basically where I started at when the article was in the paper in the spring. And it's my life. I don't know what I'll do. And I'd hoped, my understanding was that everybody would be here, and the people on the island kept telling me that I needed to come to a meeting, so here I am.
But there's a process you gotta go
Yeah.
through before.
Get up with a lawyer and
Yeah.
Michael
I
and
gotcha.
see what we can come up,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and he'll set you up and
Well, I
get you
know
going.
other places, you know, when something has
And
been there, they
whatever
grandfather
way-
you in.
Whatever way it turns out, the board is supportive, but,
Yeah.
you know, I mean, if, there's a lot of
understand.
things that we have rules to, and it's not us, it's what has to be done, and, you know, I know what it is to have hardships in your life, every one of us do. So maybe y'all can work something out and see what happens. Anyway,
Well, I
thank you for
appreciate
coming.
it.
I
Um,
got-
Get
they
get
said-
up with Michael and see what he can set up and help you, with his lawyer, and see what we can do.
I'm
Well,
gonna
it's
read
just,
up,
you know,
let me
they
read
said-
up on them rules too, cause I got to get,
Well, that's, I mean, like I said, there are no jobs.
We know
And,
that.
you know, I'm an asset to the community. I get letters from people. It's, you know, they're looking for people like me that have been here, that love it here, that can tell them about this place. And the average the family comes to the island and they're just shocked at where they're going to go for dinner and not spend a fortune. There's Express Lane for snacks, that grocery store, both of which are highly overpriced. And then the restaurants, I mean, I haven't been out to dinner in 6 years. And so when they come to, you know, and they get a hot dog from my neighbor, or they get, you know, cookies and baked stuff from me, they love it. It's part of their one. I mean, I've had almost every time. I mean, I could write a book about the people that I meet. And one lady, last summer, the whole family was from North Carolina, and with hospice. The mother was dying, and one of the sons is a teacher in Kenya, and the whole family flew in because it was her wish to spend her last days here. But they came to my little tent, and I had one day 2 women my age, both of them with terminal breast cancer, and one of them was her birthday. And it's just, you know, it's so rewarding, and it's just, you know, astounding to me that, you know, a real person, you know, that all this has happened, and I'll keep on trying, but, you know, it's just, you know, you can see it's frustrating because I don't know what I'll do without it. But I appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any
Okay.
more?
I got one comment.
Go ahead.
I want to thank everybody, I mean, I want to tell everybody Happy Thanksgiving. It's coming next week.
Yeah.
It's Thanksgiving, so,
me too.
yeah.
Happy Thanksgiving
And be
to
thankful for what you have.
Franklin County.
Happy Thanksgiving to everyone, Franklin County people. Is any more public comments? Meeting adjourned.